To be getting in on this, joining us now is Paul Freig, money manager at the ETF Market Opportunity Fund. His five-star big cap growth fund is up almost 14% so far this year and up more than 5% in the past 5 years. It's good to have you on the show today, Paul. So the question is, shouldn't you be thinking about getting out and locking in your profits as opposed to piling in when it's already up so much this year?
It is up quite a bit, but I really still love Indonesia because I look at the fundamentals besides just how its performance. And Indonesia is different than the other Southeastern Asian countries. It's less cyclical, so it's less vulnerable to any outflows of capital. And right now there are huge inflows of capital into all of Southeast Asia.
Is that a problem? All this hot money that's flowing into places like the Asian region? We're just talking about this because of the ultra low interest rates here in the States. Isn't it sending a lot of money that's causing problems in Indonesia?
I think it's causing more problems in their fixed income market than it is in their equity markets. They have an open capital account. They're loving the money that's coming into the equities. About $2.5 billion in the last 12 months. They have quite a few more issues with the money going into the fixed income, which is probably about 4 times that amount. And they're putting on some minimum holding time requirements and whatnot.
We grabbed you as soon as you came out here because you heard this debate that we've been having about ETFs. Are they a ticking time bomb? We have everybody piling into ETFs. There's a lot of problems with that, with short trading, also with consolidating everyone's trades in the same places. Do you think it's a ticking time bomb? Are you worried?
I don't. The ETF market is vast. The area I don't use the triple leverage funds. I don't use the double leverage funds. The funds that I use, people talk about can they implode and go to zero. No, because of the underlying securities in them. So if I have a small cap fund and all of a sudden the bid dries up on that small cap fund, I can put it back to the issuer and get the securities and sell them.
Your answer kind of implies that there are other ETFs out there that you think can implode and go to zero.
Zero is a long trip down, but I stay away from the triple leverage ones. I like the ETFs that buy the actual underlying securities rather than derivatives to get their exposure.
Paul, what about the issue that was raised when we did this segment on the short covering of the ETFs? If you have massive waves of short covering, they can issue new unit sales. Is that possible? They can issue new unit shares? I mean, is short covering going to be a problem?
No, because they can keep issuing them, and they are constantly.
What does that do to the valuation of the ETF?
The ETF is always going to be valued. There's the intrinsic value of the ETF, and it's always going to be based on the underlying securities that it owns.
You're saying this Bradley Foundation study has no merit, that we shouldn't be worried about the ETFs, and the issue of short selling and covering the ETFs. It's not a problem. Is this going to be a big issue?
No, I don't believe it's a big issue. I'm not saying the Bradley study is completely wrong.
Quick, how much is the Indonesian market a proxy for what's happening in commodities?
About 30%. The Indonesian, the fund I own, the IDX, the market vectors, is about 12 and 18% in energy and metals.
So if you believe in the commodity story, you believe in Indonesia? Is that how it works?
Yeah, and it's also helping the Indonesians themselves. There's a vast urbanization move in Indonesia. More than half the people now live in cities. And the other half that are still out on the farm, so to speak, are going to have more money in their pocket because of the commodities.
Is there a risk of an easy money dollar bubble going into that currency like we had in the late 90s where it would eventually blow up?
It's got such a high yield too, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that was the Asian contagion.
Right.
That was very painful for a while, and it was caused by too many dollars flowing, hot money flowing overseas.
Let him answer.
Are you vulnerable to that?
I don't think I'm vulnerable because I'm watching it every day.
Okay.
But is that market vulnerable to that? Yes. And I think you'll see some things put on by the Indonesian government, whether it's minimum holding periods, whether it's capital. Right.
You're a good sport. We really piled on you here.
No, I don't have a view. I'm asking.
It's fine. I appreciate the opportunity.
Right, thank you for coming out. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.